Hey, everybody, welcome to the Cryptic Paranormal Show. This is your host, Fake Goose, joined tonight by Heisenberg and D Nice. And special guest tonight, a comedian, a movie star, and he also does, one-on-one cameras in his bedroom, Ross Huff.
Nice.
How's it going?
How was that for impromptu?
That was perfect.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah,
Honestly.
Pretty good. Better than I would have done.
I'm done for the rest of the show now.
I was gonna say you did what you need to do. Now you're done.
Just gonna sit here and smile and
That's my job, dude.
oh shit.
That's what.
Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to the real host of the show. My real name is Tim Miley, and my good friend Ross Huff, who's actually a comedian and actually is a movie star.
Actually on OnlyFans?
Actually on OnlyFans. I wish.
And is also going to be a 2-time presenter at a Autographs for Pooches event, which is why he's here to talk about it. And he's here to make us laugh. Make us laugh, funny man.
Yeah. So I definitely the movie star thing I think is funny because that came from Tepperman. For those of you that probably know him, yeah, that was I went on a family trip, so I got to go and do that. That was awesome. But yeah, like I say, got to go with the family and stuff. And one thing I realized when I was there is my son is more financially responsible than I am.
How old is your son?
He's 8 years old now.
Oh, that makes sense.
We had given him $100 to save, and he planned on saving it, or we gave him $100 that he could spend, do whatever, and he planned on saving it. Me, on the other hand, I owe my son that $100. But yeah,
that's accurate. I have to borrow money from my kids often.
Yeah, it happens. Like the birthday fund when you get that's normally how it happens. Is they'll get a pile for their birthday, and then you're right. Well, the bills need to be paid.
Right.
Yeah, I've got it into my kid's piggy bank a couple times.
Yeah,
I put it in there.
Always put it back, It's,
right. I know. I think my 9-year-old is so much nicer about it. Like my 11-year-old, if I'm like, hey, can I get $20? Like if the plow guy's coming in, I need to pay him cash and I don't have any, I'll be like, hey, can I get $20 out of your piggy bank? And he'll be like, for what? Yeah. When are you going to pay me back?
Why don't you have your own money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like shading you. You're like, hey, I brought you into this world. I can take you out of it.
I gave you life. Give me $20.
Right? I know I'm not the comedian in this, but hey, can we talk more about the plow guy?
Yeah. Who's the
when the plow guy shows up and
why does it cost only $20?
I was gonna say $20. That's a deal, I guess.
Yeah. If you know any plow girls, that's
especially for $20.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I could think of that I pay cash for that I can't. Is when the guy comes to plow the driveway. Tim, calm down.
I thought we were friends. You're hiding all this from me.
So tell us your real story then, Ross.
My real story? Yes.
Since Tim
from birth or?
Sure.
No,
sure.
I've always gotten into comedy and stuff. It was one thing that I work with Tim. That's how I actually got connected with all this. And I always growing up thought comedy was cool. I finally took the jump, I want to say about 4 years ago, and decided, all right, let's try this. Because before that, I had always played guitar and drums in different bands and stuff. I had actually, it was funny because when I first moved out of the house, we started a zombie love song band.
Nice.
We sang, yep. So we sang one of the songs was "I Am a Zombie with No Balls." That was fun. Our name we actually came up with was Intercorpse.
Nice.
That was interesting. But yeah, that was all the rave at that time too. Well, we had Wednesday 13 was kind of someone that we looked up to. If there's someone that know that, they once were in the Murder Dolls, had the drummer Joy Jorgensen from Slipknot with them, and he just had this goofy zombie, weird, horror band kind of, and they'd sing songs like Fang Bang and stuff about being a vampire and getting lucky. Yeah. But yeah, there was definitely a start there with the comedy almost of goofing around with the band, and we had fun with it. But then it just kind of turned serious because, well, like any lead guitarist and singer that we had at the time, he was egotistical and wanted to change it up. But honestly, though, I still get along with him. He's a great guy, but you know, it definitely there's a level of narcissism, I guess, to be a performer, and that just you got to believe, I guess, in yourself a little bit, right, to get up and do anything.
For sure.
So, yeah, so I started doing that, and then finally, I was planning on. We had a comedy club that opened up that was in the area that started an open mic, and I remember this was over 10 years ago, and I was thinking about getting into it, but at that time my daughter actually got diagnosed on the autism spectrum and was like, all right, well, I got to focus on this. You know, it was definitely a big change of plans for everyone's life at that time, and I wouldn't turn time back for nothing. It's been great with her. She's awesome. But like later on, I finally got to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna take a jump and check it out. So I went to a couple local open mics and saw them doing comedy there and thought it was great. Saw a couple people get up that I was very impressed by. Saw a couple people get up that I'm like, I can definitely do better than that, right? You know, like that's so it was definitely something that pulled me in right away. I went to like a week's worth of open mics, and then after that I was hooked.
Yeah.
So I would have got up there, man.
Yeah,
you're brave.
Well, it comes from honestly like just how long of I guess, because I used to get nervous as hell getting up on stage, and there were parts of me that were like, I don't know if I can do this. But after dealing with some of the things I have just in my natural everyday life, it was like, you know what? I've dealt with way worse to get up on whatever. I can get up and do this, you know. And it's been like therapy now for me, honestly. Like I really find a lot of enjoyment out of doing it, and it just makes me feel good to make others feel good.
Right.
Because the world can suck sometimes, you know. So in order to help people get away from that and have that relief, I just love seeing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you make the jump from doing open mic to doing it as a career?
So I got a little lucky because I do musical comedy, and not a lot of people. I was the only one in our area that was doing it when I started. I don't know if anybody else is like gotten up and done that. We've always had like, I don't know, Cheeseheads with Attitude was kind of a goofy band that came from Wisconsin. We've had a few different ones, but nobody that really, I don't know, not especially from the Fox Valley where I'm from. But it definitely, I call it my GTA cheat code because it was a different kind of thing. So people were booking me pretty quickly after straight out the gate. I was only in it a couple months. But normally you work on your 5-minute set. Like you work on a decent 5-minute and you work on it in 5-minute increments. So normally you'll get like a 5-minute guest spot on a show, and that'll be unpaid. So you get up, you do your 5 minutes somewhere in the middle of the show normally. And a lot of times that's given to obviously people who are pretty new with it, haven't really gotten up and done more time. And as you go along, the next natural progression in it is hosting. Normally you get like 10 minutes as a host, and your goal is to set it up for the night. But there's a lot to hosting actually. And I'm sure, I mean, you guys can attest to it, hosting like even a podcast and stuff too. Like you need to be able to keep the ball rolling. You're the face of the night. You're definitely, people are looking to you to be like, all right, entertain me.
Right.
Do it. Dance monkey, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's definitely, it's after that, you start getting into more feature spots, which is where I like, because then you don't necessarily, I don't mind hosting. I love, like, hosting is definitely something I've done ever since I was a young kid. I remember at my uncle's church, we used to have these like little things go on, and I'd get up and host the night, and I'd dress up in like a nice, you know, my dad's tux from his wedding.
Nice.
Put on the one time, but I was so small that it like drowned me. So it was like that much more comical.
That's awesome
to see me, and like, yeah. So, but I started doing stuff like that. Yeah, and
that's cool.
That helped me kind of with hosting later on. And then obviously your headlining is the last thing. Those are the ones that get paid, the big bucks.
That's cool. So how you work with Tim?
Yes.
That's how you guys met each other?
Yes.
Okay.
Cheap labor. That's what he is.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing you, just like everybody else, heard Tim's story, fell in love with the story, and wanted to support the cause?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always been, I'm always a big advocate for animals. Like, more so dogs. I like cats too. They're cool, but like I'm allergic to cats. So I definitely, but I still love them so much. So like, I'll still find myself over at a friend's house and like forgetting like, oh yeah, that's right. And so sitting there like, oh, you're so good. Oh wait, eyes pop up and then
my husband's allergic, and I feel like cats know who's allergic to them and like instantly go to that person.
Yeah,
you probably find yourself all the time around.
Yeah, or anybody that doesn't like cats.
Yeah,
they're like, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna change your mind.
I've always wanted. They're interesting animals to say the least too. I mean, like a dog is very like loyal and stuff. It'll always come to you, but cats, you never know what you're gonna get with a cat.
Right.
You could get an asshole cat that just likes knocking everything over, or you get a cat that's like thinks it's a dog. It's the friendliest thing in the world. Those are the cool cats, definitely. Yeah. The ones that come up and want to like get pet and want the attention.
Right.
But it's funny because they're too like they're a lot like us sometimes too. Like, okay, that's enough attention. I'm gonna go do my own thing now. Yeah. Where a dog will never get that way. A dog always wants that attention. So.
Give me.
Yep.
I'm definitely a dog person for sure.
The first event that Ross did for Podographs, he had an impossible task because Ross's first event with Podographs was 5 days after Murray had passed.
Oh, geez.
And Ross was supposed to get up in front of everybody and make them laugh.
Right. Was it after you just made everybody cry?
No, he let it. He was the host that night.
Well, that was nice of you to do that.
And kind of got through everything, but like, well, you can attest to this. I mean, the people that go to Podographs events, they're really invested in the cause and the reason.
The family, honestly, it's crazy.
And
I felt it right away.
Yeah,
for like the face of the entire thing to pass away 5 days before that event,
right?
You can imagine there was not very many dry eyes.
Yeah.
And Ross battled through it. He got a little bit out of hand.
It was fun.
With some of it, and I remember looking at Todd and going, "Well, I'm not going to stop him because people are laughing."
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun, and Ross did an excellent job. And he came to our Houghton Lake event. Was it last year? 2 years ago.
The year before. Yeah.
Just as a guest, just came to support the cause and have a good time. And then we're bringing him back for an event in Pembine. We got 2 Podographs events in March. Apparently, I like to punish myself. Ann Arbor, Michigan, March 4th, and then Pembine, Wisconsin, March 18th. And Ross is going to be he's going to be doing a full set Friday night for a meet and greet dinner. So I'm excited to see that.
Nice.
And then throughout the weekend, he's going to be a part of the festivities. So excited to have him there. And happy he can make it. And now it's back to Ross.
Well, there we go. Nice poster.
There's some good-looking people on that poster.
Yeah.
Especially the people in the bottom right.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. Look at them.
Yeah. We're kind of the same way, Ross. Like we obviously we had Tim on the show.
We forced our way into the show.
Yeah. we fell in love with Tim's story, as everybody does, and fell in love with the mission and Murray, even though we never met him. And then we did our first event last year. And then we said, you are never getting rid of us. We will be at every single event from now until eternity. So just keep our picture and put it on the poster because we're not going anywhere, whether you like it or not.
I have 2 quick stories. If you could put that poster back up, please, Denise.
Okay.
John had said, Zaff is looking like a mob boss. No, here's the thing. That's actually Godfather. Like there's a style of like a font called Godfather. And that's the one that April used for Podographs Parafest 4. That was the whole idea behind the poster, is because the tagline when we introduced the poster was "Potographs and Murray finally have a godfather."
Nice.
And that was the whole idea behind the poster itself. So, yeah, that was incredibly cool. I remember the conversation. I called John because I'm cool like that, and I just have his number and name dropping. But I called John and I said, "Hey, I've never had you at a Potographs event, and I was wondering if you would like to headline our event in Michigan and help us raise money for the animals." And John didn't miss a beat. He said, "Yeah, let's make it work." So John's been incredible to me. Geez, God, I've known John since it's been 11 or 12 years. I'm just really fortunate to actually be able to call him a friend. So great lineup there. Do you have the other one by chance?
I don't know. I can't see what these are.
That one. Yeah, there's a look at that hunk in the middle row there. There's Ross.
Right in that row right there.
Yeah. A lot of really great friends for that one. And
April, who I absolutely adore.
Really looking forward to that event. It's close to home. It is. It's like an hour and a half from home. So I'm excited about that part of it. But yeah, it's going to be a busy March. And hopefully we add some money to the totals. And the other story I was going to tell is that you guys came to the event last year, and we all got together afterwards and we watched UFC, like where all the speakers were. We plugged it into the laptop, and I remember you guys at the end of the night, Goose and Denise, one of you looked at us and you were like, "You don't even know us, and you treated us like family all night."
Yeah,
like we just hung out and we had so much fun. And like Ross said earlier, it is a family. You show up to these things, and like we immediately either take you in as one of our own or we kick you to the curb. So
I wish I would have stayed.
Yeah, it was fun. It was just such a good group of people, and there's no like drama. Everybody's just there for such a great cause. Everybody's, until Tim tells his story and makes everybody cry, everybody's in a really good mood. It's so much fun. Holly was there too.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully my husband's not watching the show. He is one of those people that his emotions are hungry and tired. Like he doesn't show emotions ever. But Marley and Me is the only movie that he has ever cried at. And still to this day, you watched it 10, 12 years ago. And still to this day, every time somebody mentions that movie, even if they're across the room, he goes, "Fuck that movie." Okay. He hates when dogs die.
Let me tell you, I didn't finish the book because I knew what was going to happen, and I've never seen the movie.
Yeah.
I stopped right at when they moved to the country.
Don't watch it.
Phoebe's mom used to do that on Friends. She didn't know like Old Yeller died at the end of the movie. Like all the sad movies, like Phoebe's mom. I just started watching it recently. My girlfriend's name is Rachel.
Oh,
I'm Ross. So yeah, awesome. we get a lot of like, "Oh, you guys are from Friends," But just talking about that reminded me of it. I always thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
My grandpa used to do the same thing. He'd bootleg movies. So he'd rent them, and then he would like use 2 VCRs to like tape another one.
Oh, we used to do that all the time, yeah.
And he would make like children-friendly versions. So like Dumb and Dumber. There was a couple scenes that like I saw later on, and I'm like, "Wait, what is this?" Like, I don't remember this scene. This wasn't part of the movie,
Good.
What's up? How are you guys?
It's like you're psychic or something.
I thought he was already here.
Nice, dude. Do you have to?
I'm really confused right now.
There's 2 gooses.
Gooses here. I'm gonna back out of here.
Is that do you call that geese? We got 2 of them.
The goose and geese. Got it.
No, I'm gonna let Ross have his moment.
Okay.
You guys talk with Ross because I've talked way too much.
Thanks for.
But I am going to see you guys in a few weeks. Rumor has it I'm going to be on the show.
Yes, so, absolutely.
Before I go, the 4 people I'm looking at here, I love all of you. Thank you for doing this.
We love you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for helping out.
All right.
You too, Tim. Have a good one.
Bye.
Later, bud.
I sent Tim the link to the show earlier, and I was like, I'm not going to tell anybody, but feel free to come on while Goose is not here and put your name.
I saw him on. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah. No, Tim's such a nice guy. Like when I met him at work and stuff, I definitely connected with him right away. He's goofy. He likes goofing around and stuff, but he's serious when he needs to be, and he's very serious about raising money for animals, and it's so cool. Like what he does is just such a, like you say, he can, as soon as he starts talking about the origins of it all, and it's how do you not cry? It's
oh yeah. So that's what I was saying. So when we went to Michigan last year for the event, I had my husband come with me, and he was just hanging out in the hotel the whole time, like. The whole paranormal scene, it's not his thing, but he wanted to be there to support me, whatever. So, he's hanging out in the hotel room, and I text him and I'm like, hey, why don't you at least come down to see like the check reveal, like show how much we got, whatever, like come down for like the closing ceremony or whatever. And I wasn't even thinking, I know that he can't handle when dogs die. Okay. I know that.
Yeah.
And, he sat there and he listened to the whole speech. And when we left, he was like, what the fuck?
Why would you put me through that? Yeah.
He's like, that's a terrible story.
Oh,
I think I've heard his story maybe 3 or 4 times all the way through now, and every time.
Yeah.
It's just waterworks.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't help it. I mean, but I cry a lot for good reasons too, because it is such a beautiful story. Just there's so many good parts to it too. Obviously, it's not all bad. Yes, patience was the giant check from MadCon. your hint. Yeah, I'm helping out Shelly today.
Speaking of dogs.
I'm trying to get Kate to come with me. I don't know if she will though.
Yeah, she should totally come. It's fun.
We gotta find somebody to take care of Lola, our dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. You bring Lincoln with you?
No.
He said no.
No.
He can stay home and take care of the dog.
No.
So that's what I said, but she didn't go for
it. Yeah. How old is he now?
He's 3.5. He'll be 4 in March. I mean, 3 3/4. That's old enough.
They start settling down around that age, it seems like, and figuring a little more out. I know mine. We had 2. The girlfriend had 2 dogs, and I had 1. One passed over this last year, but we had. He was labeled as it was a pit bull mix, and right away, like when I was looking into like what to do, like where to adopt and stuff, the people I was reaching out to were like, this is not a good fit for your family. Like just looking at your application and everything. So I'm like, okay, whatever, trusted the girls, opinion on that, and kept going. And every dog we were going for, they kept getting grabbed up before, and finally we were like, okay, what's going on with Gambit? Or not at that time, his name was Nolan. What's going on with Nolan? Like he's still out there. It's obvious that like he needs a home. He's cute as hell. And they're like, well, we don't know. I worked at Tailwaggers Doggy Daycare, it's called. It was a great place. When I was just getting out of high school, for the first couple of years after high school, I worked there. It was a great job. Got to play with dogs for a living and get paid.
Right.
And it was a little bit above minimum wage for a while. And then they kept bumping me up a little bit here and there. But so I had experience like working with dogs. And he's been the best fit for this family, honestly. Wow. Especially with my daughter's on, like I said before, my daughter's on the autism spectrum. And she definitely, she has these meltdowns and stuff. And right away, like one of the first the first night we brought him home, she was getting, you could see getting wound up. He jumped right on bed with her and calmed her down like right away.
Oh,
it was so cool.
Wow,
Hi,
that's awesome.
look at you. Oh, you're adorable.
Lincoln, what's up, dude?
Hi.
Play too hard.
Yeah.
Play too hard.
I don't know where I did shoot up.
Yeah, Lola ran into it. So Lincoln's almost 4. Lola's 1. And huge.
Oh, okay.
And huge.
Yeah.
He knocked Lincoln over a couple times.
Oh no.
All right, buddy.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, Governor.
Oh, bless you.
Oh,
You do take. That's why I'm always sick.
Right?
yeah. Right.
Anybody with kids understands it.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, buddy. Love you.
Yeah, I was I know I've seen articles talking about pit bulls being considered nanny dogs,
Yeah.
because they're so good with kids.
No.
Well, and everyone freaks out about pit bulls, like it's like, oh my God, they're the worst, breed. Like I know my dad, he's always been a worrywart, and he was definitely like, I don't know about this. But he fell in love with him as soon as he met him too. He's like, oh no, he's a good dog. He's, and he could see definitely with my daughter Avery how he just he latched right onto her and still.
Yeah.
And then when I moved in with the girlfriend, she's got her dog, the 2 dogs, but Lady is the one we still have, who's also a pit bull, and she's all white and deaf, and which is interesting to have a deaf dog, definitely.
Yeah.
You sit there and if you forget it, you're sitting there like, get in here. You're like, oh wait, all right. Then you're just violently like waving, like, come on.
Yeah.
And it's fun. What's nice is you can just slip little things. She don't even know. You call her a bitch. She has no idea. But yeah.
Well, dogs don't know anyways. You could just say whatever you want, but as long as you say it in a happy tone,
a happy voice.
they get so excited.
It's always fun. Sitting there. Oh, you're so stupid, aren't you?
Right. I'm going to get a puppy and replace you. They don't care.
Call him a freeloader. Tell him to get a job and stuff.
Yeah. Dogs just match energy. They don't care what you're talking about. They just match your energy.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. That's why animals are so great. They're so pure. Like everyone knows people that like they just wouldn't want to. I don't think you meet very many dogs that you're like, oh, I don't know if I like that dog. Most of them are even ones that are seem a little more aggressive. You're like, oh, there's something happened to you. What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're more worried about their mental behavior.
Yeah.
Their past and their issues.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously something happened to you. I'm so sorry, buddy.
Yeah, right. It's not your fault. We know this isn't your fault. You're
How can we make it better?
Supposed to be this way.
Well,
we can only be that sympathetic with people, but that's
right.
People are assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
It's definitely we don't deserve dogs. I feel like they are so pure and so amazing and so wonderful.
Whoa.
You hear mine?
Yeah.
They like to play a little rough sometimes too, but they're good.
I have a Cocker Spaniel that we rescued and a little 9-pound Yorkie poo that we rescued. All our dogs have been rescue dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we've had the best of luck with all of them. I mean, they've all had their little issues here and there. What dog doesn't?
Right.
You gotta make sure you're watching where you're stepping in the middle of the night because they're probably a pile of shit somewhere. So the little Yorkie poo is so afraid to go. She doesn't like going outside when it's cold. So she'll just run out there and run right back in. So it's on. It's like, okay, but she loves us unconditionally. So how can you get mad?
Oh my gosh. Nobody loves me like my dog does. Like my kids, my husband, none of them. It's
unconditional.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And it's funny
because you can throw a person in a trunk and you let them out and they'll be pissed off. You put them in a trunk. You let them put a dog in a trunk and they come out like, here you are. Oh, I missed you.
Where you been?
Now that you should put dogs in trunks.
Right.
For people.
It's just a hypothetical example.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna pick one, put the human in the trunk.
Yeah, put the human in the
people
trunk.
Are garbage. But yeah, like I'll run out to my car to get something, and I come back in, and my dog's like, "Oh my god, I missed you!"
Right? I was only gone like a minute. Yeah.
Right. They don't care. They don't care.
My wife
leaves
loses his head when Lincoln and Kate get home. Like she just loses it.
Yeah. The Cocker Spaniel Barney, he's definitely my wife's dog. If you know, because he always gravitates to one person the most.
Yeah.
He will sit for hours and just stare at the door when she leaves.
Yep. That's what my dog does when
like
I leave.
Barney, and he'll look at me like, "What? I'm busy," and then go right back.
I'm waiting.
I'm waiting for mom.
Right. Oh, it's so funny.
All right, mine knows when the bell's ringing from across the street like 6 times that they should be home soon. So
oh my gosh,
that's where she knows the bells.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Poppy knows the FedEx man. She knows when he's coming. She can hear him coming from around the corner, and she runs right, and like we have a chair right in front of our window. She hops up on top and just sits there.
Nice.
The minute she sees him, she just starts barking like crazy.
Yeah,
the mailman, but they're all bark and they're no bite because you let them in, they're just like, oh so,
yeah,
we love you.
right.
Yeah. I have a Mastiff who's 125 pounds, and he will bark at people, but then as soon as people come in the house, he just goes and hides underneath the dining room table. I'm like,
that's funny.
the worst guard dog ever.
Good watch dog.
If it's the first time someone's been there, first time someone's been at the house, Gambit, my dog, which we renamed him because my son's name is Nolan, so it was like really confusing to be like, Nolan, you idiot. It's like the dog would be all, no, I was talking to the kid. Like, but yeah, no, it's interesting, to see just how much he's developed and stuff as time has gone on. And
yeah.
But he does not, if it's someone's first time over, he'll just he gets very much guard dog mode. I had to put him in a kennel kind of in it takes about 2-3 times of meeting a person before he'll warm up to him.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what? I don't necessarily think that's bad. Our last dog that passed away last year, she was a lab shepherd mix, and she was very ferocious. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But she loved us unconditionally. The kids could climb on her, pull her ears, poke her eyes. She didn't care.
Yeah.
But when people came into the house, it was a different story. She was a different dog. And one time I had to have a police officer come into my house. I wasn't in trouble, but I told him, I was like, hang on, let me put my dog away. And I put the dog in the bedroom, and the dog is like growling and barking like the most ferocious bark I've ever heard. And I said, he said, your dog sounds nice. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And he said, no, that's what she should be doing. You know, like my husband wasn't home. It was just me and the kids. And there's this guy coming in our house. You know, I felt much safer because she was like that. I don't feel safe with Roscoe. He's a shitty guard dog. Like he would hide under the table, you know? I just have to hope that people get scared away by his bark because he's going to do nothing.
Or just maybe if they walk around, you know, they'd be like, they see him, they're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I'm hoping.
Well, sometimes barks alone will deter people, though.
Yeah, especially when it comes from a Mastiff and it's like super deep.
Deep bark, yeah.
So, since we all have dogs, do you refer to yourself as mom and dad to your dogs?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even with I have kids too, but that's definitely a dog dad.
Okay. So I'm glad we got that out of the way because I worked with somebody and he was telling me a story about how he got home from work and his wife said, "Oh, Jeff's home." And I'm like, ew.
Yeah. Why
you don't call yourself dad? Like you're the
your significant other, their real name.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
Yeah. Another girlfriend, whenever I forget what it was the other day, I'm like, hey Rachel, and she's like, well, why would you say that?
Right.
Like it felt weird coming out of my mouth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think the only time my husband ever says my name is like when we're at a party or something, and
when you can't get their attention.
Yeah, and I'm not paying attention. That's it. But
that's like the kids when they're saying dad too. Every now and again, my kid, Dad, if I'm tuning it out because whatever, and all of a sudden Ross, it's like, wait, what?
Like, excuse me?
But it gets your attention. I remember doing that with my
sure.
dad too, honestly.
Lincoln calls me Michael all the time.
Yeah.
Does he?
But Michael, well, this is what he does. He goes, Michael, I need a favor, because Kate probably did it once. So he says the whole sentence like every time he does it.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
He knows that's how to get your attention.
So I start calling him kid.
Yeah, I know if Kim calls me by my name, I'm in trouble.
Yeah,
that's how I know. I know I'm in trouble. Ray, what?
Yeah.
Oh, what did I do? What did I do?
Serious talk is coming.
Yeah,
right. That's
how it starts. Yeah.
Right.
So as far as like dogs, so you mom and dad, right? But if you have two dogs, and this is what's different with ours is like we didn't necessarily get them together. We both had these dogs separately, being single, and then got together, moved in together, and brought these dogs together.
Yeah.
And we're like, are they brother and sister, or are they boyfriend and girlfriend?
No, they're brother and sister.
They're brother and sister. Yeah, but they do some weird stuff like for being brothers.
Well,
and sisters.
I mean, that's when you kind of have to remember they're still dogs.
Yeah.
And they're not.
Don't do that here, sister.
Yeah.
Because I'll be upstairs and hear the dogs getting all riled up, and then my wife just scream, "Barney, that's your sister!"
Yeah.
Some kind of Luke and Leia thing going on here.
Yep, a little bit. Yep.
That's why I wanted a female dog, because I do.
Yeah.
The deaf one we have, she'll go to clean herself, cleaning herself.
Yeah.
And she gets into it. She starts making some pretty interesting noises. It's like, stop that. Like, what are you doing?
Not in front of the children.
She's just showing off.
That's not a chew toy, buddy. That's not a chew toy. Stop it.
My kids will even tell their teachers and stuff, like if they ask, like, how many brothers and sisters do you have? They always include their dogs.
Really? My son.
No, my actual kids are like, when I say be nice to your brother, they're like, what are you talking about?
Oh no, my kids.
You don't understand. Those are our fur babies. You're our babies.
Yeah.
Fur baby.
Those are your siblings. You treat them as such.
When we're trying to teach that to the son, I mean, he honestly, he doesn't. He's getting around though. It's funny, but he's real weird about like dog hair. Like if he doesn't want to get dog hair on him and stuff, and he's like, he gets all, and it's like, dude, we have dog hair everywhere. We have a white dog and we have a black dog who's got like brown on him as well. It's like you got the whole, all of it. You're gonna get whatever on you.
Yeah.
Well, we got one of those rollers and stuff.
And he's good with it now.
Yeah. He'll still, like, whenever he gets back to mom's and stuff too, he'll want to take a shower right away.
Yeah.
Which is good, because honestly, that's before that it was hard to get him to shower. So.
Yeah, and then also teach him how to vacuum.
Yep. Yeah.
There you go. Never have to vacuum again.
Yeah. No, he definitely. It's just funny to see. I've never seen, and he was all about getting like Nolan a Gambit now. He was all about getting him when we went to look at him and stuff. He was excited, and somewhere along the line, he just, I don't know, like, definitely, he's like, I don't understand why they have to bark all the time. It's like, that's what they do. That's dogs.
Right.
Right.
They can't just tell you, hey, there's somebody walking down the street.
Yeah.
They have to. They have to bark.
Father, there's a FedEx man at the door.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so thankful my dog can't talk. We just had this conversation, me and my husband. I was like, can you imagine if Roscoe had a cell phone? Like, he would just call me all the time, like, Mom, you coming home? Mom. You almost died?
You're like text message.
Be like Stewie in the commercial for Family Guy. Mom. What? Hi. Mom.
Yeah.
I crack up when Lincoln does that to Kate. I just like.
Yeah.
It always reminds me of that.
You think that you want the dog to talk, like, oh, I wonder what he's thinking, like, but that would actually be terrible.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to know what my dog was thinking.
No,
that was on America's Funniest Home Video. Back when Bob Saget did the voice, there was like, we have this new technology where we can look and see what this dog is thinking.
Yeah.
And this dog was pushing a rock with its nose, like in a circle.
I remember that.
And when it went into the dog's mind, it goes pushing a rock, pushing a rock, pushing a rock, pushing a rock. I remember my dad
turn a rock,
so
pushing a rock,
hard at that. And so I found it funny because my dad was geeking out.
Right. Oh,
but yeah,
man.
it always comes to mind.
America's Funniest Home Videos. I was trying to explain that to my kids the other day.
Yeah. It was YouTube before we had YouTube.
I was like, it was YouTube, but like only for an hour on Sundays, and that was it.
I think it's still on.
What's up, Ashley?
Sometimes. Yeah, but we also have the ability to just watch YouTube. Or
I'm sure it's a lot of YouTube clips now, actually.
Yeah, I betcha.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was just talking about getting those. I think I want to. I really want to.
I can't remember what show I was too, because there was this woman. I can't remember what kind of dog it was. It was like a really tall, big dog. It's like a white dog, but she had like all those buttons, and he was almost like pushing full sentences.
Yeah.
But then he started saying somebody's here in the house, but there's nobody there. So like now she's thinking this dog could see like ghosts and shit in her house.
He probably can.
Yeah, it's like, and he was like looking at a corner and like nobody was there. He's like, someone here.
Oh my god!
So you sure you want that, Dean?
Maybe not. Well, you could pick what buttons you get, so I just won't.
Don't get anything to say.
I'll just get rid of those buttons.
Well, that's always freaky when your dog starts just barking at a corner.
Right?
You're like, what? 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 Like, why are you doing this?
Especially like when their hair starts standing up and it looks like
when they're serious.
That's scary. I have seen Bunny, the poodle, has the buttons.
Yes.
And actually the video that I just watched, Bunny was saying like, she said, what kind of animal is Bunny? And then Bunny was like, human. And she's like, no, you're a dog. And then he said, no, human. And then he looked in the mirror and was like, who's that? Like, this dog is talking with these buttons.
Hello, Joe. Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's freaking scary.
Crazy.
That's got to take a lot of effort.
I think. Like reincarnation kind of stuff, right? You know?
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember my son, all right, now talk about scary. My son one time when I think he was like, just like, it was talking decent sentences by this time, probably about 3 years old. And his mother and I were hanging out in his room with him, talking with him. And he said that he was so glad he picked us. And it was like, what do you mean? You know, like, what is that? What do you mean? And he's like, explain how he got to pick us. He saw us and decided he wanted to, pick us. And he wouldn't he was too young to describe what, So we're sitting here drilling. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what and he's like, he was saying how he had another family. And it's like, oh, wow. What happened to this other family? He's like, we died. I was like, whoa. Okay, like what happened? And he remembered 2 lights, which makes me think of a car accident.
Yeah.
Wow. But like I say, when we kept questioning him and he was too young to really articulate much of what, he was thinking. I asked him when he got older and he was just like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But like when he was younger, it was like the way he just describing it and stuff. It's like, is this, and you hear stuff like that,
I am a firm believer in that. And I always tell my kids, like, I'll kiss them goodnight. And I'm like, I'm so glad you picked me to be your mom. You know, I think that our kids are definitely sent to us to teach us something. And I think that's why they're all so different. You could have 3 kids, none of them have the same personalities.
Yeah.
Because each one's there to teach you something different.
Mm-hmm.
It is creepy.
It is creepy,
but especially when you see these kids who talk about like dying in a war and like they could
I've seen that story,
like how to fly a freaking fighter jet or something. And like, things that kids should never know. Or the kid that found his murderer. That shit's crazy to me. Wow.
That's crazy.
That's so cool though.
Fell off the roof and now he's here. Wow. That's how we got Santa Claus. Tim Allen.
Right.
Tim Allen became Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus.
I think Lincoln picked us to destroy me.
No.
That was to test every nerve I have.
Yeah. It's to teach you patience.
Your mind, body, and soul. He's testing it all, man.
Yep.
Our
My
kids
middle
do
one
that
is teaching me patience as well.
Yeah.
And to be self-confident, because if I believed everything out of his mouth, I would think that I'm a terrible mother and don't know how to cook and all this other stuff. So he's teaching me to not take people's words to heart.
Yep. Well, and that's something we all need to learn sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say with my son too, like the dogs, is like that's just kind of his personality type. Like you say, some of the things that come out of his mouth are like, you're an asshole. Why'd you say that? Like, but you know, it comes from an innocent kind of place too. Like they're just saying what comes in their mouth, you know, and then
not always.
Well, yeah, and that's where the parenting moments come in. Like, all right, here's where I get to step up and be a parent now, right?
Yeah.
Like
my son was upset one morning about breakfast because my husband was going to make the waffle sandwiches and he doesn't put enough peanut butter and Nutella on them. And so my son was upset and he decided he wasn't going to eat breakfast. And we said, fine. And so he went to go get into the car to go to school. And he turned around and said, I hope this house burns down with both of you inside of it, and slammed the door. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
First of all, where do you hear that? Like, if he would have turned around and been like, you're a bitch. Okay, I get that. I swear, whatever. That's where you picked that up from. But where did you get that from? But I did turn it into a teachable moment because we had like 1 million little bottles of hand sanitizer. So I took one of them and I said, I want you to squeeze this all out on the plate. And he was like, okay. And I was like, okay, now tell the bottle that you're sorry. And he's like, what? I'm like, tell the bottle that you're sorry. And he said, this is dumb. And he's like, I'm sorry. And I said, did all of that go back to normal? And he's like, no. I said, your words are just like that. Every time that something comes out of your mouth, people can't forget it. And it doesn't matter how many times you say you're sorry. That's something, when you say something that horrible to somebody, they're going to remember it for the rest of their lives. So you need to think about that before you let words come out of your mouth, because it's the same thing. You can never apologize enough to make people forget about it. And things have been calm since then. You know, he hasn't said anything like that, but I don't know where he learned that from.
I'd have freaked out. Like, what do you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's good. It's those moments that you realize, all right, I got to step up as a parent here and do something. That sounds like you handle that very well.
Yeah, and it's hard because you want to just be like, you know, you want to just like yell at him and be like,
yeah,
you know, but then you're just doing the same thing he did. So
I'll burn down my house to teach him a lesson,
right?
And like hide behind the house so he can't see you. Like,
I would have probably this kind of the same talk Denise had, but maybe not exactly those words.
Yeah.
But then I'd be like scouring the house for anything flammable, like all the matches. You're locking them up behind lock and key.
It's crazy.
I don't know. Might be raising a little serial killer here, but
you never know. All you can do is love them and pray for the best.
Yep. Well, it's like the son and I, we were at a wedding the other day, and we went into the bathroom, and he pulled his pants all the way down to take a pee, you know, and I'm like, oh, I'm raising that kid, you know.
Yep.
But like, and I'm like, that's when this is one of those teachable moments, right? You know. So I pulled my pants down all the way to my ankles too, in a move of solidarity. Like, showed him I'm with him, you know. We high five mid pee. It was beautiful.
You're not alone, bud. Yeah, it's weird. Kids are weird.
Yeah. Like you say, test your patience, and that's definitely it's something that. But like some of the most beautiful moments come out of it all too, like going like sledding and just realize, you know, how you feel like a kid again, like going sledding with your own kids, and
parenting is so weird because it's like one of those things that's so contradictory. You know, like your kids can drive you absolutely nuts and all you want to do is get away from them. And then you get a date night and you're like, oh my God, I miss them so much.
I wonder how they're doing. Should we call home? Let's see.
Yeah.
Like the whole time we were at Hamilton, my wife and I kept looking at each other like we were fairly bad because like my daughters wanted to go so bad.
Yeah. Well,
like my oldest is like infatuated with that show.
Yeah.
And she's like, I hope you guys have a horrible time.
Oh,
she was joking because she said it
Yeah.
with a smile on her face, but you
Yep.
could tell that she deep down she was hurting. So
There was 95%
Like a
of
whole
truth
time.
in that statement.
yeah, exactly. She was
But even like
joking.
the restaurant we went to, we're like, man, the girls would really like this food.
Right.
Like we're just talking about the girls the whole time, but we're
Yeah.
supposed to be having this like adult time.
You need that adult time too, though.
Yeah, for sure.
You do.
We just took a New Year's Eve trip to Atlanta.
Nice.
Yeah, we had some flight miles so we're like, the girlfriend and I were like, you know what, let's go. Just you and I, and have a nice, a few days. They had a Harry Potter exhibition in Atlanta.
Nice.
Went and checked that out. That was cool as hell. Definitely. I'm a huge Potterhead.
That's
but definitely, yeah. I love that stuff. But yeah, so we had a blast. But then like you say, you're sitting there and you're wondering about them too. Like,
Right.
but I came back so refreshed, ready to ready to get back into it. And
yeah,
those are nice. My wife and I had an extended weekend. For our anniversary last year, we just went down and spent a long weekend at Disney. Just not the parks, but what is it called again?
Springs.
Disney Springs. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just went like every day. We went and like to a different restaurant, and we hung out and did shopping. It was just so nice. You know? But I mean, everything we brought back was all for the girls. We didn't like actually buy ourselves anything.
Yeah.
Besides cookies, we went to Gideon's and got the cookies. But
how many think that Kate should come with me to Ann Arbor? 1, 2, 3. Unanimous.
It's 4 against 1, Kate.
Yep. Lincoln can watch the dog. You guys are all right.
Yeah. Or the dog can watch Lincoln. Either way.
There we go.
Ann Arbor is fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. Last year it was in Houghton Lake, and that was like a 7.5 hour drive.
Yeah, for you, it was.
Yeah, but
way
Ann
longer for
Arbor's like 3.5, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
I probably don't even have to stay then.
Yes, you do, and Kate does too.
I went to the Polygraphs event he did in Houghton Lake though, and they did that at that hotel.
Yeah.
That was so cool to go in that hotel and just see. We did like a little investigation while we were there and stuff. And I come from a background where I've always I've had my experiences, but kind of skeptical. I grew up Lutheran. So I mean, a lot of that stuff we did believe in, there were spiritual things that would happen, stuff like that. And I still, to this day, I feel like, there's definitely spirits that, I think there's a difference between like angelic figures that do stuff and then spirits. I think there's definitely demons, you see different things like that. Mm-hmm. And, it was cool because they had a demonologist at that one that talked, and I was excited about it. I was asking all sorts of questions. I'm like, all right, you've dealt with demonic entities, but have you dealt with angels? Like, tell me about angels. I want to hear about angels, let's hear about the positive. And they had said, there were times that they went and put on, the armor of Christ to go and into battle, and that they felt like they had, people behind them with it and stuff. Yeah, it's cool to hear stuff like that. And what's cool about that community too is everyone's got their own beliefs, but no one rags on each other. It's not like a Facebook post that people think they can,
the comment section. Yeah.
These are your people, and
yeah. And then especially when you hear stories about your kids saying they picked you or whatever, it's kind of hard to deny that there's something else, but I mean honestly, I'm a volunteer at Madison Seminary. Most of my life is built around the paranormal. I do this stuff all the time, but even still I question things all the time. I think you're crazy not to question things, you know, and to just assume, oh, everything's paranormal. Right now it's super windy outside. I'm not going to sit here and be like, there's a demon knocking at the door.
Yeah.
Wind, calm down.
Yeah. Well, and you see that too, where people get a little overboard with it.
Yeah. I think it's good.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. I got to get off, man. My back's killing me.
Okay. Go lay down.
All right, dude.
I'm going to lay down. It was nice meeting you, Russ.
Nice meeting you too, man.
You guys have a good show.
You too.
Bye.
Everybody. Hope you start feeling better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
what's up, Connor?
So the other day, my 9-year-old was like, Mom, do you think an apocalypse is coming? And I was like, what?
What? Where's this coming from? Yeah.
He said he had a dream that it was an apocalypse. And he's like, I didn't see any zombies, but it looked like a zombie movie. And he said, and somebody in my dream kept telling me 2030. And I was like,
What?
What?
Wow.
Ask him if you saw the Mothman.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Why? Is that in there? I don't watch scary movies.
Well, I mean, the Mothman was communicating with this guy, the main guy in the story, like giving him numbers, and like everything correlated to the tragedy that happened at the end.
Oh my god!
And it was based off a true story. So.
Whoa! What the hell?
I bumped it.
It was a demon.
Yeah. Hatfield just fell off.
Oh jeez.
Yeah,
it really creeped me out because he's the one who is like, he just randomly comes out of his room and goes, Mom, it was so weird. It felt like somebody was holding my hand, but nobody was there.
Oh.
Like, and the one time we're looking up at the stars in our driveway, and he's like, Mom, do you see that man standing on top of the house? And I'm like, what? No.
Yeah.
So he's always been like the spiritual child, and then he's telling me that he's having dreams about an apocalypse, and he said he kept seeing the number 2030 and hearing the number 2030, and I'm like, okay, but I need more information. Like,
that was like
yeah,
give me more. What is it? Oh, I don't know, it was a dream. It's like,
right,
come on, you got me hanging. I have thread here. Let's
go back to sleep and tell me what you hear.
Yeah.
My daughter doesn't get too much into like dreams and stuff, but she asks a lot about death. Like, I don't know how to answer that. I mean, I don't know. Like, I've never died, so I don't know. Like, what do you think it feels like to die?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
Right.
Let me. I don't know. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know how it feels when somebody you love dies. And seeing that happen.
Yeah.
I can explain that to you, but I don't know.
What
and then like, what would we do if your mom and died? What would we do if your mom and dad died? Like, she just starts asking. Like, my wife gets all upset. She's like, "Are you like waiting for us to die or something? Like, why do you keep asking us these questions?" Like, no, I don't.
What is that? Oh, near-death experiences.
Yeah.
Well, there's I watched this lady on TikTok who is like a hospice nurse, and she said that there's a whole like training session about when people are going to die, they start to see their loved ones who have passed away, and they'll just like see them in their room and stuff like that.
That happened with my mom when she was like.
That happened with my grandpa.
Yeah. A couple of days, like she was not like. It was like we weren't even there because I'm like, Mom, it's Raymond. She's like, well, did your Aunt Patty leave? I'm like, my Aunt Patty died like 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's like, Aunt Patty was here and she was talking about your Uncle Bill who died 10 years ago. And it was like, she's like talking like she just saw all these people.
Yes, Darren.
And then when it's like even closer, like the night before I was there, she's like just calling out their names.
Yeah.
Like, it's Raymond, Mom. She's like, Patty, Bill, like calling out all my aunts and uncles and like,
yeah.
And they don't ever, the lady was saying, they don't ever like get scared. They're not scared.
No, right.
Like, oh my God, there's my mom. They're like very comforted by it.
My mom did start crying and asking about the baby. Like, what happened to the baby? Where's the baby?
Oh.
Well, between me and my brother, she had a miscarriage.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if that was coming back to her too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, that's the only correlation that I could like figure out, like why she would be asking about that. But she was like very upset asking about where the baby is and what happened to the baby. I'm like,
aw.
Yeah, and that
Mom.
I mean that's tough. You know,
I just held her hand and like, I think they're fine, Mom. The baby's fine.
Yes, exactly.
The baby's She's like, okay. And she went back to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good though. My grandfather, it was weird because he was in the hospital and he had Alzheimer's. He barely knew who most of us were most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a blue moon, he would like slip back into stuff, and it was after he had a Coca-Cola. Weird enough, much like my grandma was obsessed with that. She used to, because the one day he drank a Coke, and I guess he went out, did a bunch of yard work, came in, called her sweetie, kissed her, and then as the day went on, like slipped away again. But she called Coke and was like, "What's in the secret ingredients?" You know. But anyways, he was in the hospital on his deathbed. We knew it was coming, and he reached over to the corner and he yelled out. He said, "Al," and said something about Al. And Al was his stepdad, who was from what we knew still alive. We got a call, I want to say about a half hour later, that Al had passed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So my uncle, pastor, he said that he believes that Al stopped by before going towards the light to pick my grandpa up. So,
oh my god.
Yeah, it gives you chills,
Yeah.
Definitely. There's how you know what I mean? And
Right.
for him to have Alzheimer's and not and for Al that it just all those are the things, like you say, they make you really question, okay, what is in the afterlife? What we don't know. We have no idea.
Right. Yeah.
We just throw darts at a board and hope that some of them stick,
Yeah. It's got to be something though, because that's way too many coincidences.
Yeah. And the people who act like they do know they're the ones that are probably lying,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
hate
so
when
weird
people say they're an expert.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, we're on this subject. Like, one of the nice things about Facebook is like you can get in touch with old high school friends. You know what I mean? Like, you just you drift apart. Life happens. You grow up. You guys move and whatever. It's not that you're not friends anymore. You have different lives.
Right.
Well, just like every once in a while, random friends will message me with these paranormal questions. And this actually just happened last week. This girl that I went to high school with, just out of the blue. I mean, I don't talk to her on Facebook that much. I mean, we message each other on the on the alumni page.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, so when what you do, that's what it always starts with what you do. She's like, is it normal to have a dream or see somebody, a vision of somebody that's close to you, and then the next day you find out they died or passed on? I'm like, that's very common.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of stories of that.
Yeah.
And I gave her some definition. Then she got more in depth with it. She had a very vivid dream about her aunt who she hadn't seen in years, but she just had this crazy dream, they were just a normal family visit. And then she woke up 2 days later and she found out her aunt had passed away.
Yeah.
So it's it's just weird, how we have that connection, and we could, it's you don't have to be a psychic. I mean, I think everybody has that ability.
Yep.
That sixth sense in some way. And sometimes it takes a tragedy to kind of figure that out, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's just weird how our mind works and how our psyches connect with loved ones.
Yeah. Well, it's beyond explanation. I mean, you can say, okay, but they're coincidences, but these are too
much.
There's no way it's just a coincidence.
Yeah. And especially the hospice thing, it's a training they train people on this because it is something that happens almost every single time.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had Linda Dix on a while back, and she just started messaging me on Facebook when I was dealing with my mom, when my mom was in the process of transitioning and passing away. All of a sudden she just starts texting me. She's like, your mom's getting ready. She's like, and which at first I'm almost how dare you?
Right.
Just message me and start talking. But then I know her, and I know she's not a malicious person. She's one of the most loving people that I know.
Right.
And she's reaching out to me to help me through this. And I believe, there's a very few psychics that are they just come out of the woodwork, I'm a psychic now and whatever. But I've seen her work. I trusted her at first I was like, what do you, why are you even talking to me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going through. But then I'm like, okay, this makes sense. But she's and then she starts talking about how the family's gathering around her. She sees the family. And that's when my mom started talking about the family.
Wow.
It's just but Linda Dix was just such an amazing help through the whole thing. She and towards the end, my mom was just not, you could tell she was just in that spot where she was going, but something was keeping her from going. But she was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You could tell she was suffering. And Linda, out of the blue, I didn't tell her anything. She's just like, just tell her it's okay. She's like, you tell yourself it's okay first, and then you tell her it's okay. And that night, she was like freaking out if anybody touched her hand. So I just grabbed her by her foot and just rubbed it real quick. I'm like, Mom, it's okay. You want to go? We understand. I don't want to see you suffer anymore.
Yeah.
Go be with your brothers and sisters. And then, I'm bawling my eyes out, crying, and like walking out of there, like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
I told my mom to leave. And the next morning, like 4:00 in the morning, my dad called, like, your mom passed. I'm like, that's all she needed. She just needed help.
She needed to know it was okay.
Yeah. She was hanging on for us, but I'm like, you don't need to do that.
No.
Right.
I don't want to lose you, but I don't want you to be here suffering.
Yeah. My grandmother waited until everyone that was in the area visited.
Yeah.
It was like, it was crazy. It was just like, it just seems like you say, like there's a consciousness there to hold on before letting go completely. And it just blows me away that we have no idea what definitely goes on there, but like it's so cool. Like psychics, you have so many people that like claim to be psychics, but then when you really meet someone that's like, wow, okay, like this is intense. What you just said just like hit me to the core. And like I say, like I said earlier, I've been a skeptic kind of on stuff like this, but I've also seen so much, and my mind has opened up so much more on all of this. I definitely, from my experiences and from talking to others about theirs, look at it in a different light than what I used to when I was younger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I know.
Go ahead.
It's weird because it's not even like a death thing too. Sometimes I remember there's like 2 nights in a row, these vivid dreams of a friend of mine who I hadn't talked to in a few years, like after high school. Like I had these dreams of her like yelling help to me, but I couldn't reach her and I couldn't get to her. And after the second night of this, I called. I'm like, hey, I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know what, like you have going on, but I keep having these dreams of you calling out to help, and she's like, oh, that's weird. The next day she was having these like abdominal pains. She was pregnant, and she remembered what I said, and was like, went in, and like here there was complications. They needed to get the baby out, and it just blew me away. But she called and she's like, oh, what exactly were these dreams again? Like she wanted to know more than after that happened.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just explained it to her. All I knew it was you. You were out of reach. You were yelling for help. That's all I really remember. And
I mean, but if you translate it, like she definitely needed help, and it's not something that you could have done. So there's no way you could have reached her because it's not something you could do to help her.
Yeah.
So you knew that she needed help.
But Jen, she needed to know that she needed help. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of times we'll have like aches or pains and stuff and ignore them. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's whatever. Especially being pregnant.
You're always in pain.
Yep. So it's just crazy to me how that stuff works out.
Yeah. Darren said he was on the phone with his dad. He couldn't talk, but he acknowledged that he was on the phone, and he passed 8 minutes after we hung up. It was weird.
Wow. Yeah.
My great grandma, she was in hospice, and her daughter, her entire life, had treated my grandma like shit. Okay. She was so mean to her. She stole money from her. She told people all these nasty things about my grandma. Like, she was just an awful person. But when my grandma was in hospice, of course, she shows up and she's, oh, I'm such the great daughter. I'm here doing all this for mom. And she would like walk up to her and be like, Mommy, do you need anything? And we're all like, ugh. Like, first of all.
So she's taking center stage, making it about her.
Yeah.
And like, every single week, my dad would take my grandma to the bank. We'd take her to the store. We'd take her out to eat. We were there all the time. And as soon as this woman came in, she was like pushing us all aside, like, that's my mom. And we're like, okay, bitch, you haven't been in the picture for years, but whatever. So,
okay, bitch.
So it was like, I don't even know. My grandma had been in hospice for a few days, and Donna comes up to her and she's like, "Mommy, I just have to leave for a few hours. I'll be right back. And I love you so much." And blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't you know, my grandma died while Donna was gone, so that Donna couldn't say she was there when her mom passed away. I was like, good job.
Boom.
Because I'm not going to sit here at the funeral and listen to this saying, "Oh, I was there holding her hand when she passed away." No, you have not been there. You don't get to be there. Yeah. And it was just, we all just, I mean, obviously we were very sad, but we all kind of were like, nice one. Like,
yeah, right.
Last word.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's awesome.
I mean, she had only been gone like 10 minutes. Donna left, and not even 10 minutes later, my grandma died. She was like, I'm not. She was holding out until she left. I know it. I mean, we're not going to understand how they can do that, but it's definitely a thing. They definitely can.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Decide.
No, I agree with a little bit of a choice there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I met a client. I do real estate, but I got really close with this client, and I would like stay at her house for like hours at a time. Like, she was older, and she was saying something like, oh, her daughter was like, "Well, Mom, when you sell the house, you can move in with me." And this woman told me, "I will myself to die before I move in with her." And I was like, wow, that's terrible. But also, I think there's some truth to it. I think that people can like will themselves to die. They have to be. I don't know. I feel like, again, there's way too many coincidences.
Yeah, definitely. No, and that's like when you hear about couples that pass away at the same time too.
Yes.
Like, that's definitely like
each other.
Yeah.
When they say that they can't live without the other person, they're being serious. Yeah.
No, and
well, even going back to animals, dogs that were close or like related to each other. You see that all the time. They just get so depressed. It's just like their health declines so quickly after their buddy or sister or brother passed away.
Yeah. Or the owner even too. We saw that with my uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy too. It's always like less than a week later.
Yep.
The other person dies.
Yeah, the animal, like, just or someone else. Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. It's just like, giving up the will to live kind of a thing. Like, but like, it's not really giving up, I guess, because you got to look at it's just taking a step into the next area.
Right, and if you have somebody. You have a husband and wife who have been married for 75 years, like that person is their life, so when they're not really like giving up on life, they're just going to the next part with their person who is their life, I think it's cute.
Yeah. No, it makes me think of
The Notebook.
The Notebook, yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was the big finisher.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I fell asleep before that happened.
That's what
I
remember watching
false hope.
Yeah.
Like, life is not really like that.
No, I know. It's like it's too beautiful of a story.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have stuck around. He would have went and found another mistress or something. Or
nobody's gonna redo a whole house when you're with somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is crazy because people then expect that, like people think that that's what true love is. No, true love is like, my car broke down today. My husband drove right out there. He's underneath my car on the side of the road. Like, that's true love. The fact that I don't ever have to brush off my car in the wintertime because he always does it for me before he goes to work. That's true love. Like, we need to stop watching movies like The Notebook because it gives people
false
everything. There's nothing true about that movie. It's still cute.
Family's home.
Still watch it. Oh, from the concert? Did you leave the concert early?
I just watched my daughters. There's like, well, it was like it was all the jazz bands, but it was like the middle school jazz band, and then the high school has 3 different jazz bands. So it's like the middle school went first, then my daughter's jazz band 3, she went, and then I left right after she went. So
okay.
I missed like 2 of the bands, but I didn't miss my daughter. I wouldn't miss my daughter. So
gotcha.
They were amazing. I was so proud of her. I was crying.
Yeah.
Stomping my feet.
All of my kids' stuff.
Oh, I know. It's when she started marching band, forget it. I was like, because like all that stuff, like I remember from marching band in high school was such a big part of my high school career. Like,
yeah.
Like that's where I met all my friends, and she's like having the same exact experiences that I did.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's so cool to see. But then I'm like, I'm feeling like a kid again. You know, I go and buy a pair of Vans and acting like I'm in high school again. Like, back in the 90s. Back in the early 90s. Yeah. It's back in the early 90s.
And Jenko jeans are coming back too.
There's that 90s show that just came out too. I haven't checked it out yet. I want to see it. It just came out today.
It looked super cheesy from the trailer, but everybody's watching. It's like it's really actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I might have to give it a shot. Yeah.
I like all those people too.
Foreman named his daughter Leia, I guess. So
okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a blast from the past. Like I was born in 83, so that's my childhood.
Yeah, the 90s. I was 88, so I got to experience quite a bit of the 90s. Definitely.
You guys are babies.
That's why.
I'll be 40 a week from today. Thank you. I'm not a baby.
I'm a 1977.
77.
So yeah. So I mean, the 90s I was in high school. Like
yep. So you would have saw that aspect of it.
Yeah,
and that's the thing is depending on that era, the different ages you were.
Yeah.
You know, when you went through it, definitely the music was always, because I grew up. I remember like for music especially, like it was the Offspring came out with Americana, and I want to say that was probably like mid 90s, maybe later. And when that album came out, my dad bought it, and I had never really gotten I didn't show any interest in music. I listen to music and stuff, whatever. But I remember that CD I would steal from my dad and listen to it, and that's when my parents knew like, oh, he's into music now.
Yeah.
So at Christmas they both bought me a CD, and I got Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication from my dad, and Backstreet Boys from my mom. And guess which one I listened to a lot more?
Totally Backstreet Boys.
Oh yeah, definitely big Backstreet Boys fan.
Yeah.
No, but I ended up that CD ended up going to my sister after a couple years, but I still listen. They were good. Backstreet Boys were very talented. They just weren't my jam at that time, you know.
Right.
Yeah. My mom was trying though.
She probably just went to the store and were like, "What are the kids listening to these days?"
Exactly.
And they said, "Definitely Backstreet Boys."
Growing up, most of my childhood, we were like strict Christians. So like the heaviest thing I would listen to. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows Stryper, but I would listen to Stryper. They were like the Christian hair metal band.
Oh, this is a Christian hair metal band.
Yeah. They were like the Christian Kiss, basically.
Yeah.
But like once I got into high school, we I don't know, something happened with the church, and my dad wasn't into the politics of church anymore. So they're like, here's a boom box, and here's all these like CDs of stuff that we listened to when we were kids. So I started like all over again. Then I hear like my mom's talking to, she snuck out and went to Woodstock. I'm like, holy shit! Like my parents were cool. Like they used to be cool. What? There's this whole part of their existence that they just erased, and I'm just finding about now.
Yeah.
So like the 90s were crazy for me because I started with like the classic rock, Beatles, Jimi Hendrix. I had Jimi Hendrix and Doors posters all over the place. But that was part of the 90s too. There was like a resurgence of the 60s music.
Yeah.
Like the Woodstock era music coming back out. It was like if you were a skater, you're also like into that like hippie genre of things too. So it's kind of like being a skater, you're kind of like the new age hippie, basically. But you're like listen to that, you're smoking weed, your friends, you're skating, but then like grunge hits, and then we're all listening to Nirvana, Soundgarden, all
Pearl
these
Jam.
guys, Green Day, Pearl Jam. So it was like high school was amazing. Like I just learned so much about music.
Yeah.
And like to this day, I'm like most of my playlist is still like Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Metallica is huge for me. I mean, I know they predate grunge. I mean, they started in the late 70s, but
yeah,
it's just I got into music so hardcore, like rock and roll after that.
It's really hard though, because like now like Green Day is like classic rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they have a musical on Broadway. It's like, what the hell? It's like
my 11-year-old came to me the other day and he was like, Mom, you gotta listen to this song. And it was like a song by Green Day. I think it was Boulevard of Broken Dreams. And he's like, listen to this song. It's classic rock. And I was like, oh, excuse me?
That's
like
working at Hot Topic when that came out.
I worked at Hot Topic as well.
Oh yeah?
Not when that came out. When did you work there? Were you like 15?
Yeah, it was American Idiot came out. I was 16. Yep.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of the other one.
Wow.
Well, and that, so like Dookie and stuff like that. It was funny because American Idiot came out. Yeah, it was been like 2004, 2005 around there.
Yeah.
And I remember working. I got a job at Hot Topic, and at that time I didn't have. Well, I was young, so I didn't have tattoos. Obviously, I didn't have piercings or nothing either. I was the most, I guess, normal looking.
Yeah.
Kid by most
you were the normie
society standards. I was far from normal, but I remember they hired me, and they were a little reluctant. I remember at first, kind of. I went through 4 interviews before finally on the 4th one, like the manager that interviewed. I've interviewed you before, right? And said, well, why don't we bring you on? And so it was Christmas time, and they found that the parents that were coming in approached me.
Yeah.
Not the other people, because they were all, face full of metal and stuff. And so I was approachable. And then that's what kind of became, like why they kept me around, I think, is because like, oh, he's good for the parents, like, and
eventually at Christmas time. Yeah. I mean, when I worked there, I was like goth, but like only by the way I dressed. You know what I mean? I still was like this personality. And so it really threw parents for a loop, because they're expecting like, oh, I'm goth, like, and I'd walk up and I'd be like, hey, how are you? And they're like,
I never worked there, but I shopped there a hell of a lot, because that's where I got all my Metallica t-shirts and like,
so
all my
did
rock
we,
and
but
roll
we got
shit.
40% off of them.
Yeah,
it was nice. 40% was great. And they put that on top of another deal too.
Yeah,
that's so if you had like discounts and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was my
I remember
first
going
Christmas
in there and shopping and like, I'm hitting on all the girls that work there, and like we just like hang out in the mall anyways, because
that was my favorite job. Like I used to yell at customers with a megaphone. Like it was amazing. Like I mean, I was really good at my job. I did everything that needed to be done. The store always looked great, whatever. But like it was so much fun working there. Honestly, I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it too. It was cool. It was like a family. Everyone was like really cool.
Yeah.
It
was cool too, because they actually like paid you to go to concerts and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they wanted, you had to like fill out this thing that was like, what were people wearing? What, what trends did you notice? Whatever. But so they had all of their employees like basically doing reconnaissance, like going to these concerts and seeing what people are wearing, what's cool, what are people not wearing anymore, whatever. And so they'd pay for you to go to these concerts. And then like, Warped Tour was sponsored by Hot Topic. So like every store got a bunch of free tickets. So like I went to so many shows for free.
Yeah.
I worked there.
I went into one recently with my kids because my daughter's like shopping there, and it's really changed.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Like it's not the rock and roll goth stuff.
No,
it's like
it's
like all
culture.
Anime, pop culture stuff. Yeah. A lot of anime. I mean, you could find anything anime you want there.
Yeah, it's a lot of anime actually. They definitely, and there was a little bit of that when I was working.
There was,
yeah.
Like they had like a corner. The big thing was always Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we had Invader Zim stuff too.
Invader Zim stuff, yeah.
That Invader. I remember we had a guy, this big old dude, with deep voice, and he'd come in and he was a big Invader Zim collector. Like anything and everything, like that he like could get from us, like that we set it aside for him because we knew this guy would be there to pick up Invader Zim stuff. And that was such a a cult like classic thing.
Oh yeah.
Which I remember watching it when I was younger, and like I thought it was funny. You know, Girl
I
was
did
funny.
not. I didn't get it.
Yeah, yeah. Same with like that. There was a few different shows like that, but those are the kind of stuff that we carried there. And then they had memes on shirt before they were on the internet.
Right.
You know, you had Silence is golden, but duct tape is silver. I remember was one, and stuff like that. Just stupid sayings, and then you had the trip pants that were like just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think there's some of those too. It was such a good time. Oh my gosh. So great.
Yeah, we had fun. That's where I learned how to frame my package, actually.
How to what?
How to frame my package. Okay, so like this is an interesting story. I used to talk about this in my comedy routine. I need to bring it back. But so basically, when you frame your package, you take your thumbs and your index fingers, and you go to talk to someone, and you take your thumbs and put them in your pocket. I'll demonstrate it here.
Okay.
So like you take your thumbs and you go like this, and then you take your hands and kind of frame up your package.
Oh.
Sorry, this is great, you guys. This is probably a first, huh? You go like this. You kind of like present it.
Okay.
And you talk to someone and see how long it takes before they start looking down. You know, because you're instinctively like, it was fun to watch how long a person would go before they would look down, you know?
Oh my God.
And then you kind of look at them like, did you just look at my
package?
Yeah, and then like, it was so fun to just like sit and mess with people that way. And I learned how to like, I just learned so many fun, goofy things there that like, it was such a fun place.
Yeah.
Eyes are up here, bro.
yeah, let's do it. It was fun. I do whoever. It didn't matter. Like, just see how long it would take and be like, did you just look at my, you know, you wouldn't say it, but you'd give them that look. Like, you'd watch them get kind of squirmish, and then they felt like they had to buy something.
Yeah.
Right.
Good times.
Yeah.
We used to turn that into a game because you're supposed to try to get every customer to buy at least 2 things.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we used to like turn it into a game to see. Like, it was my birthday at least once a week because I would get people to buy me a button for my birthday.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, you did whatever you could, and then you get like employee of the month for that. And then if you got a few of them, you got like a special like thing, a button and stuff. And
it was a really cool
place. It was that upselling that always got me on the t-shirts, because you know, I'd buy one,
get one,
like,
50%
well, you know,
off.
if you get another one, it's this much off. I'm like, God damn it. So, you know, I was always a big guy, so I'd like have to find one where I could search and like find my size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it was cool, like that t-shirt wall.
T-shirts.
Yeah, the t-shirt wall, folding t-shirts.
Yeah.
Look, I don't even like that band, but I like that t-shirt, so I'm getting it.
Yeah. I was we were actually a training store, and so we would like fly in, you know, new managers from all over the place.
Oh, wow.
And I actually went to district meetings, and my district manager used to have me tell people how to fold t-shirts because I was so
you
good.
were the pro.
Yep.
Did you work
I still
at Great
fold
Lakes?
t-shirts that way.
I still do too.
Yeah. The best way to display it kind of so you can see the tags and like
yes. And it drives me crazy when my husband folds t-shirts normally, and I'm like, you can't even see what shirt that is.
Yeah, yep. You don't see the logo. You need to see.
I do it to myself. And I'm like looking for one specific shirt, and they're all black.
Yeah.
Because like 90% of my t-shirts are black.
I'll teach you how to fold t-shirts.
Like, please, my wife.
I'll teach you air folding. It's great. Yeah. That was such a good job. Oh my God.
Did you work at the one at Great Lakes Mall?
Yeah.
I probably saw you.
I'm sure.
We used to go to that one all the time.
I worked there for a long time.
Yeah, that one and the one in Chapel Hill, which is no longer a mall. So
yeah.
Malls are closing. See more and more of those go.
Yeah.
A lot of malls around at least Akron area have closed or have turned into like Amazons or storage places. Just it's crazy.
People don't need to go to a mall anymore, which is so sad because so much of my childhood or so much of like my teen years was spent at the mall, not just working.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like,
oh
my gosh. And my husband, ironically, was my best friend when I was a teenager, and we lived within walking distance of the mall. So like literally we were probably there 4 days a week.
Yeah, mall rats.
I grew up in the country, so that was literally the only thing we had to do. Especially once we got our driver's license,
Yeah.
Like we had to leave and like go to a mall to be able to like meet up with friends and do
But there
stuff.
was something so great about it. Like kids don't even understand now. Like they don't
Yeah.
have that, and I feel so bad.
Right.
Like
hanging out in the
like when I
food
was
court.
watching Stranger
Yeah.
Things, season 3 when
Three,
they were at
yep.
when they spent so much time at the mall. I'm like, God, I missed the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Like there were so many people there, and it was just like so active and so
Right.
many things going on, and like all your friends were there. It's just you go to the movies, you go get something to eat, you can go shopping, or
Yeah.
you could just walk around and hang out at the arcade. You know, it was just like one stop. You could do everything, and
It was
just
so fun.
it's a lot of my like young adulthood life spent
Yeah.
because, like you said, Mallrats. That was us basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be
Walking
making
around,
a
like,
second one of those. Kevin's talking about. He's got
Mhm.
a script written. He made
I haven't
Clerks
seen
3.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but everybody who are as big of like Kevin Smith fans as I am said they like walked out crying because
Yep.
it's just like
I was just gonna
like
say
everybody
it's
was
a
just
motion
like
roller coaster.
yeah. So I'm hesitant to watch it because I'm used to just like the hijinks and the yakety schmackety stuff coming out of
Yeah. No,
Snoochie Boochies and all that
Yeah.
stuff, but
it's in there too. But yeah, no,
yeah.
he shows his directing chops definitely. He's like
Yeah.
there's a couple times, and I went and saw it. Milwaukee, they had like a special screening. He did like a little tour, and it was
Yeah.
so cool because he loves doing Q&As. He actually just bought, I guess, the movie theater in his hometown. So now he's all focused on that, and it's Smodcast Cinemas, they call it now. But it's so cool. I want to visit so bad. I want to go to Jersey, to Red Banks, and like go and check all that stuff out. He talked about the original thing for Clerks 3, and it was nothing like what the movie came out now. Still sounds like a good movie, the one he explained, but
yeah. I actually went on a road trip with some friends out to. It was when we actually went to do an investigation at Pennhurst. We took an extra trip because it's not that far from New Jersey. It's like right on the like Philadelphia, New Jersey line.
Yeah.
So we took a quick trip out to Red Bank and we went to his comic book store. And nobody from the show, you know, the movies were there at that time, of course. But you know, they were only there when they filmed I don't know if you ever watched Comic Book Men.
Yep.
It was a series, you know, with all the guys that just hung out there and worked there and shit.
Yeah.
So, we got to see the comic book store, so that was cool. And last year at Fan Expo in Cleveland, Jay and Silent Bob and Randy were all there. So like I didn't have the extra cash because it's like $100 just to, like get in line and get them to sign something and get a picture with them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. But like next to the line, he's like right at the end of the whole like celebrity thing. So I went around and I got a couple snapshots of him, like just to say I was this close to Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I see all these old guys like me just like all dressed up like Silent Bob and like Jay and all these guys wearing like Movie the Cow shirts, and it was so fun. That was another but like my early adulthood, we were basically Mallrats, and we just loved that movie. That was like our anthem.
Oh yeah.
I think it's funny. I mean, it makes sense, you know, for people to dress up like Jay and Silent Bob and whatever. Like, why not just pretend like you're, you know, 15 again, and you know you don't have bills and you don't have problems and you don't have issues going on in the world. Like, let's pretend.
Me and my buddy used to dress up like Jay and Silent Bob all the time for like the big Halloween parties in Kent. You know, like it was all the bars, like everybody's doing the big bar crawl. They like shut off the main street and people were just parading in their outfits and whatever. So we just sit out the corner smoking cigarettes and people would just walk by. Yeah.
Right.
My buddy was going, Stoochie Boochies. He was like doing all this shit like Jay would do. And just like everybody loved it. And I just sat there like, no ticket.
Right. Only to say a couple things.
Yeah. Do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah.
It's
no, that's awesome. I know when I was in Disney World with the family, we went to Universal then and found out we checked out Universal too. And then the first day we were at Universal, they were at Disney. Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah, Kevin and that definitely we missed him by like a day. It sounds like.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks.
But I got a tattoo of him on my leg.
Nice.
Oh no!
So there was like, and everybody that saw it that was at Universal was like, "Oh, they're here right now!" Like there was so many people that like commented on it and knew that they were actually there too.
Yeah.
So it just shows what a fan base like those guys have. You know, they're very dedicated and
right. Yeah, I was like amazed. Like, I mean, I know like they're popular, but I thought they were more kind of like a cult following type thing.
Yeah,
like, you either knew or you didn't. But no, I mean, I was like they were like the biggest lines.
Yeah,
to get to see them. Like, I mean, even Shatner was there, and his line was like half the size of theirs.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's because Shatner, all of us nerdy kids grew up, and now we have adult money, so we can stand in line for $100.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I got to see him, and I saw Jason walking around. And I'm like, oh man, it's so cool. It's like my early 20s, late teens.
Jason, he runs around and does comedy clubs now. He was at a local club a couple times. I got to talk to him a little bit. Nice. Not very long though. But he's a cool dude. He's definitely like, you can see he wants to be like accepted by the comedy community. Oh, and knows he's kind of like one that took his celebrity and went, and tried doing different things with it, And Steve-O's another one that did that.
Yeah,
and,
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Steve-O's a great comedian. Jason, he was more, Muse was more of a storyteller, and he was funny. I mean, and everyone goes there just to hang out with him, basically, and they giggle at his stuff. But he definitely didn't like have your traditional setup punch tag jokes. He just told stories about him being famous and that's kind of Steve-O did the same thing, but Steve-O knew how to gear it towards being funny.
Yeah,
right.
And that's where I think, like I said, Jason, if you're watching, Jason, I did like you. That's what. He's
one of our biggest fans.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking sweet. I could like end the show that like Jason Muse watched it.
Right.
No, that would be Dan Aykroyd. I'd have to admit, or
Josh Gates.
Josh Gates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. No, that's really cool that you got to see him.
Yeah, like I say, it wasn't like it was an extended thing or nothing. I just a quick passing, but it's cool about the local, like our local comedy club. We've had Skyline Comedy Club, and it's great. They've had a handful of great comics come through there. Cool people. Awesome. I had to meet Rodney Carrington. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Yeah.
He was cool. I got to work at his merch table, and I'm a musical comedian too, so I was like, oh, that's be cool to show him my stuff. So I had a little flash drive, and like he was really cool. I didn't know, I wanted to feel it out. I didn't want to be like, here you go. I was just waiting for like my song to come out, Rodney Carrington singing it, like. Yeah.
You got to be careful just handing out flash drives.
Yeah, what's the thing?
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Would you guys like me to play you a song?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I got my guitar. Since I feel like appropriate to play since Tim, he's not with us right now, but since I work with him, I'm sure he can attest to this. But this is a little song I wrote about work. And I've been sitting here an hour, legs have fallen asleep. Whoever's sitting next to me has barely made a peep. Got red circles above my knees from where my elbows have been. As I scroll through my newsfeed and check on my friends, I'm taking a work poop, baby. Paid to be sitting here daily. Taking a work poop, that's right. Maybe it's time that I should wipe. Goose better, right? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. My bowel movement's right on time. My phone is in my front pocket. The battery is at 69. Nice. I step away from my workstation. head to the nearest John. Oh man, that dinner I had at Wuhan, I'm definitely feeling the wrath of Khan. I'm taking a work, poop, baby. Getting paid to be sitting here daily. Taking a work, poop, that's right. Maybe it's time that I should wipe. My co-workers think I'm lazy for being gone for way too long. Just ask Tim. I don't care, but I bear the sit right here on the toilet writing the song. I feel just like a king as I sit upon my throne. Trumpets blare, kids stop and stare. My royal scepter is my phone. I'm taking a work, poop, baby. Getting paid to be sitting here daily. Taking a work, poop, that's right. Maybe it's time that I should wipe.
Bravo. Bravo. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
that sounds.
This is an example of some of what I do.
That's awesome, man. That's
well, and Rodney
hilarious.
Carrington was a huge influence of mine, you know. Same with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because like when I first started doing this, like I got compared to Adam Sandler quite a bit, and I know I'm gaining weight because now I get compared to like Tenacious D, Jack Black.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he was like Jack Black. Like, oh, okay, yeah. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. And then Bo Burnham's another big hero of mine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That dude's like, he is on a different level, like artistically. After the, I don't know if you guys saw the Inside, like the special he made during the pandemic. No. It's such a great like testament to like just the, I don't know, mentality of like what it was like being stuck in home during that time. Okay. Yeah. He's got a whole one white woman's Instagram that just it's all about like all the different, you know, poses and like Instagram trends.
That's probably
yeah.
That's awesome. Funny.
Yeah, Tim's always been very supportive of me, so that's why I'm very supportive of him too. I mean, he's doing some great stuff with that the Potographs for Pooches. I'm just totally just amazed by the amount of money they raise and like the good they do, and using the platform he has to do that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little upset because I think it was his last event was when he hit the $100,000 mark.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I really wanted to be there for that.
Yeah, to see that, yeah.
I mean, obviously I was happy for him, but I was a little bummed I missed it.
Right. No, it's so cool though. It really is.
Yeah. I actually got the poster for the one that you're going to be a part of. Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, earlier, but that's fine.
There I am.
Yeah, that's the Potograph family right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and like Tepperman too. Like I got to meet him, Woolworth, just everybody. I we go on and on. Just the whole community is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by everybody. I felt so pulled in. Even the one I went to that I didn't perform at or nothing. I just went just because it looked like it would be fun. And I had fun when I went and hosted the one. And the girlfriend and I went and we just had a blast. We definitely felt like part of the family. You know, they brought us in, and this was like shortly after the pandemic, so like everyone had to wear masks and stuff yet.
Yeah.
But like everyone wanted a hug. You know, you could see like everyone was like, screw this, like I want to hug you. Like it's been too long, and it was so cool to see. Like everyone was kind of, you know, just they were itching to be with each other again.
Yeah.
So
that was
Peppermint didn't make that one though. I was told to make fun of him a little bit for that too. He was a little bit of a diva. It sounds like something about like the flight. I was okay. Yeah. But I like Scott's awesome. I got to work with him with filming and stuff, and that was great. And I know he was really worried when the pandemic hit. He was one that definitely, I think he's a germaphobe normally. Yeah. And so like that was big for him. I'm sure like just the idea, like the anxiety probably he felt because there was something that came up with his flight that got changed. He said, well, he could have got me another flight, but I said, no, I'm not doing it or whatever. And so he didn't end up making it, which, it was a bummer. But then, Paul Bradford ended up just utilizing that as showing a clip of him when he was something about a bathtub, I remember. And it was funny as hell. But it just it was so cool, like I say, just to meet that group, and I felt like I was part of it. Even to go out in Florida and shoot with Tepperman on his low budget movie and stuff. It's so cool to see the behind the scenes on that. It's been something it's like a big fan of Kevin Smith. I've always thought that was cool. I always wanted to make a movie of my own, and seeing that definitely lit a fire up under my ass. And so I thank you, Scott, for that opportunity. I definitely appreciate that. I can't wait. That should be coming out soon. That'll be it's called sequel Cruel Summer. So part 2. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we went
Sounds
to
awesome.
the one in Houghton Lake, and like Tim was talking about, we were just watching the UFC fight afterwards. We're all just hanging out in this room, and I was in a Tim sandwich because I had Miley on one side and Woolworth on the other side.
Woolworth,
and I was like, I am having so much fun right now.
Yeah, Woolworth's a blast too.
I looked down and realized
on his,
oh my god.
I mean, you learn when he's talking. There's just the way he presents it's very teacher like,
Yeah.
And he's such a goofball too.
Well, that's the thing. It's I always saw him as somebody who was very knowledgeable and, like you said, very teacher like.
Oh my gosh, he's wicked smart.
But he's super smart, and it was a little intimidating. But then when we went to that little after party thing we were watching the fights, I mean, everybody is drinking, having a good time. I looked down, I didn't realize how many beers I had polished off.
Yeah,
in that short amount of time. And I'm we're all just sitting around sorry, something weird happened. Headphones. Well, yeah, I felt like I knew these people forever.
Yeah.
I knew all these people, and some of these people I've seen on TV, and I'm in awe that I'm sitting here watching a UFC fight, drinking. You know what I mean?
It was so much fun.
It was at that point, I think both of us felt like you're not going to get rid of us.
Yeah,
we're going to be at least. We're going to be part of this family, whether you like it or not. We love what you're doing. We love you guys as people, and it's we're coming back. We're going to be at least at one event every year.
Yeah.
The Parafest is probably it.
Yeah. No, even if he doesn't schedule it, I still would like to.
Yeah.
Like you say, be at an event a year, because it's just so cool to see these people. It reminds me a lot of it's those friends that you can step away from for how long,
right?
And then when you see each other, it's no, it's it wasn't even a day past,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was cool because I a lot of the people though I knew from online, and I never met them face to face.
Yeah.
So you're finally there, and it's oh my god, hug.
Yeah.
It's big love fest. But so much fun.
Yeah, no, it was funny because we were all just sitting there, and Woolworth got there a little later and comes and sits down at the table, and Tim's like, oh good, Woolworth's here, so now we can all feel like fucking idiots.
Oh yeah,
but he's not a jerk about it though. He is so
he's
smart.
He's just that smart. But he's he's a good hang too. You know what I mean?
He's super nice about it.
He's definitely not like those. They will go back to Harry Potter reference. He's not like a Ravenclaw about it, insufferable.
Yeah, he's super. He's really nice, and if you just ask him questions, he'll tell you.
Mama Bear, we love you.
He'll tell you all kinds of stuff if you want to know about it, but he's not like a jerk about it.
Yeah.
And he is.
We had him
funny.
on.
You have to pay attention because he's a little bit quieter than other people.
Yeah.
But he throws in some freaking hilarious shit if you're listening.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely an observer because he was sitting there laughing at some things I was saying. And I'm like, man, I'm just drunk just talking.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was.
Yeah, I mean, even Carl Johnson, world-renowned demonologist was sitting there drinking with us, and
we're calling him Uncle Carl by the end of the night.
Yeah, everybody's calling him Uncle Carl.
That's cool. Yeah, that the demonology was what really intrigued me. The one I went to, it just was like, I had the most questions definitely for them and stuff. Just some of the experiences I've had on my own too. I had where a friend of mine, she was telling me how her roommate was a Wiccan and stuff, and like had started delving into some darker crap or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, like I wanted me to come over and just talk to her a little bit because she was just felt like weird energy around the apartment.
Yeah.
And so I went there and like was talking to her, and like to get to this place, you had to walk up these stairs that had like cubbies that had totes in them. And I mean, the totes were fully pushed into here.
Yeah.
And as I was talking to her and just talking about like God and stuff too, and like telling her about the things I have learned and stuff like that, all of a sudden, like we heard totes like falling down the stairs. And it was like, what the heck? It went out and there were like 3 totes that had like come out. And there's no way these things could have just like fallen out of there. Like there was like the way they were made, you pushed them in, they wouldn't have just tipped even. They would have had to been pulled out or something. And it just blew me away. I a lot of the things that I was talking about even too, I felt very out of body. Like things were just flowing through me almost too. It was such a weird experience, but it definitely like it showed me like there's definitely something there, and it's what do we know? We don't know much about any of it, and diving into that stuff, it scared me a little bit, I'll be honest.
Oh yeah.
But, like, seeing that, I was like, oh man, this is weird. Like, I don't know what to expect here. Like, like talking to them, it's like, at that point, like I felt like running, but I didn't, and I felt like there was like defense there with me. Like it was a spiritual battle going on. And they after I went there and like prayed with her and stuff, they did not have any other instances like weird stuff there going on. And so it was definitely, it was different because I'm not one that, I've never been much of I've been a Christian, but never been one that like pushed it on people or anything, she asked. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll come over and, and that definitely was such a weird experience. Like there was definitely spiritual stuff going on there, and it was at a different level. Yeah. And like I said, I felt very out of body the whole time. So
well, I think when things get like physical, it's hard for it not to be scary. You think that, oh, they're spirits, what can they do? Whatever. But then like Rebecca, we were at the seminary and we walked into an area, and Becca's a psychic and we wanted her to answer some questions for us. So we brought her to a certain area, and there's a huge radiator cover. It's probably at least 6 feet long. So it's metal. Okay. It's not light. And the thing flew off the wall and landed right in front of her. Like something was trying to stop her from going to where we wanted to take her.
Yeah.
And that's scary. Like, because you always think, oh, they can't do anything to me, whatever. Like I'm a solid body person. They're not, they're just energy or whatever. But I think once things start getting physical and like things are physically moving, that's when it's like, okay, this is a little bit fucked up.
Wasn't that movie Ghost? I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't watch these movies. Oh, the one with Patrick Swayze?
Yes, yeah. The Patrick Swayze movie Ghost. The way the angry guy could actually move things, but he taught him how to, like, and how it took like actual energy on their part to channel it and to be able to do that. I think there's some truth to that, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that there's definitely, that movie it's so interesting. Whoopi Goldberg and everything in there, because she's kind of the psychic, right? Because she sees them and all that, and there's definitely elements of that movie that like fit in with what I've seen with paranormal stuff,
right? And
it just like, because that's my reference, you know what I mean? That's like with autism even too. My reference was Rain Man,
Yeah.
Like my daughter's autistic. Oh, maybe she'll be really good at counting cards one day. So far, she's been pretty damn good about exposing her vagina in public when she shouldn't. But so
everybody's got their talents.
Yeah, right. Like that's what. But yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It gets Becca's seal of approval.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I always thought Whoopi was cool. I mean, now she's not. She's like, she's definitely stirred some pots out there, but
yeah, but she was good in the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Sister Act.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're talking about doing another Sister Act. I heard.
What?
Yeah, like a third one.
Oh, wow.
They need to quit rebooting certain things. I
Yeah.
think that just be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let us remember the old versions of things.
Yeah.
We don't need to make a new one.
Yeah.
Right.
I always talk about the movie The Others.
Okay.
I was just gonna bring that up. It's like
I feel like
right there.
Yeah, I feel like that's a movie that, you know, from the things I've experienced, seems like it could totally be possible.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I haven't seen that one.
Well, yeah, it just like it makes you. Oh, I can't talk about it then. I don't want to get into too deep because it gives away basically the whole movie. So
yeah,
but
definitely made me
you
think.
Find that it's a good representation of like
for sure.
So what do you guys have a research team then?
No.
I do. Heisenberg and I. That's where we became. Well, Heisenberg worked with my wife, and I was already with Dark Alley Paranormal, and he just kind of like started hanging out with us, and he's just like ended up being part of the group. Then we kind of reformed, and he's like a major part of the group now. Like him and I kind of lead our group.
Yeah,
but yeah, we're Dark Alley Paranormal, but I do more with the show now than I do with the team. It's like most of the investigation. I mean, I've done more investigating in the last 2 years with their team, and it's not even that much with the show with like Denise and Heisenberg. But but yeah, I have a research team sort of. I work more of loosely. I mean, we go do like a couple things a year. I mean, I do probably more research on my own than I do with the team, like actual like reading stuff and trying to teach myself about things. But they definitely are into it, and they're very serious about it when we go out. We still have a good time. It's always like seeing family again, good friends. But
no, there's too much drama in teams for me. So I just kind of, if somebody invites me somewhere, I'll go, you know, but I have zero desire to actually have a team. Also, because I don't want to be like, I don't want people to film when we go somewhere. Like I've never even brought a camera to an investigation. You know, I just like to go, if I'm being honest, I like to mostly go to look at new buildings and learn their history. I mean, the investigation's cool, but what happened?
Oh, sorry. No, I muted it because my dogs are barking. I think my son's getting picked up right now by his mom.
Gotcha.
But it's so cool that like on the subject of like the history of buildings and stuff. That's really what intrigued me about it too, is just hearing like, okay, what all happened here? What, you know, and we've had a few in my area that just they're notorious. People know that these are, you know, a place that entities exist, and the one is this like bar that's been around forever that has some of the best steak sandwiches you'll have. But like they have one that's likes to push glasses off a lot and mess with them that way. So and
that building that we. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
It's so cool to see because like you can see everybody that works there like considers them like almost like part of, you know, it's part of the place.
Yeah.
They mess with us. That's what they, you know.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's better to act that way than be like freaked out constantly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just is what it is. You're just kind of get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of laugh about it. Oh, look what he did again.
Right.
That's
like,
funny.
knock it off, Frank. It's the third glass you broke this week.
But
yeah. Getting a little expensive. Are you going to pay for some of that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can move it, you can move them up.
Well, guys, it's getting to be about that time.
And Heisenberg's not here, so I'll do the honors. Ross,
you do it.
Tell us what you want to plug. What do you got going on?
At rosshuffcomedy.com. You can find me on pretty much Ross Huff Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, Ross Taylor Huff. I have one of those AI computer generated images for my profile picture right now. Other than that, obviously the show coming up in Pembine. So you guys saw the poster and stuff there. That's it'll be a fun one. And thanks for having me on. It's been great.
Yeah, this is fun. Man,
thanks for coming on. It's kind of nice to get out of the kind of the wheelhouse of just the paranormal talk every once in a while, even though it kind of fed itself in because we are a paranormal show,
right?
And obviously you have interest in it as well, but we like to talk about other things too.
Yeah, change it up a bit.
It's kind of
we hardly ever stay on topic, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's fun. I have a podcast too. It's No Such Thing as Art, and we interview a lot of like local artists from my area in Wisconsin here, and some of the subjects that come up, it's great. Like it's fun to have kind of a a loose kind of guideline of what to go by, and just let the conversation flow naturally. And that's what me and my co-host have found is worked quite well. We haven't been at it recently. We got a lot of stuff going on, but we plan on getting back at it. It's so much fun. I love it.
It is so much fun. We call ourselves the dive bar of paranormal podcasts because it's more like just friends hanging out. Like we have zero like requirements. We don't care what we talk about,
Yeah.
We like it that way though.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, this was a good time. And
good time.
Hopefully we'll get to see you sometime in real life.
Yeah,
Are you going to go to Ann Arbor?
Am I going to Ann Arbor? Mm-hmm. No, I won't be able to make that one. I have shows that weekend, but I'm sorry. It's one of the things now. I'm trying to figure out how to balance a lot of the stuff, getting more and more shows and with the family life and stuff, trying to figure out how to not be a crap dad, and not be because I'm off every weekend doing shows and drinking at bars because that's where they are,
Right.
So,
well, that's good. I mean, too many shows is a good problem to have, and we're happy for you for that. But it would be
absolutely,
cool.
Man. Yeah,
I'm sure our paths will cross.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be at a potograph.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it will.
Tim's not getting rid of us. So.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Good time. Sorry I was late, but family first, right?
Yep.
Exactly. Sorry, we need a replacement goose.
Yeah.
Right. That was funny. I didn't even notice until he was about to sign off that he was signed on under the goose. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But real quick, we Denise, Mike and I will be on this Friday night at 9 p.m. on another show being interviewed ourselves, which is that's tomorrow. Holy shit. The Shadow Hour with Greg Koss will be on, and it'll be on Facebook. So tune into that. It's always kind of fun to be on the other end of the microphone, getting the questions and But I'm sure it's going to be probably just what you see here, just with somebody else running the show. So tune in. That'll be fun.
Sounds good.
Cool, guys. We'll spook you later, crypto heads. And you're over there.
Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. And
what?
Hashtag do more.
Hashtag do more. Yes.
We love you guys. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next week. Next week, who do we have next week? Next week we got Heather Taddy.
Heather Taddy on my 40th
Heather
birthday.
Taddy.
What do you mean?
Absolutely. Yes. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be awesome. We've been wanting to have her on the show for a while since we got to meet her last year at the cons.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun. Okay, I'm done talking. We love you guys. We'll spook you later, crypto heads.
Bye.
Bye.